Here we go.
Funny.
And screen share.
Funny.
I'm getting better at this part. Yes. Okay,
They told me, Molly.
cool. I want to see everybody's faces though. How do I see everybody's faces? There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. Okay. Can you guys see my fancy little icon here? Feed program. Sweet. So this one is going to be a little bit of a speed through because I decided to put a lot of topics into 1 week, but we're going to do an overview. You guys might already know most of this, all of it, none of it. I don't know. So if it's redundant, my apologies. If it's brand new, yay. So let's talk about detox pathways, hydration, and oh, don't be like that. There we go. And frequencies. So first thing we'll talk about, we have the detox pathways basically lined out like this. You have from a cellular level, your organs and tissues, then to the lymphatic system, then through the process of cleaning out and cleansing and converting through the liver and bile ducts. And then once things get converted, you excrete them, ideally, not just through the colon, but in other systems as well. So you have toxins in the body from this list, medicines, pesticides, pollutants, etc. The functionalization is a fancy way of saying this is once we've gone through excreting from the cells and the tissues, and it's making its way through the lymph system and the liver with circulation and the fluid circulation systems of the body. It will convert or metabolize those toxins into a metabolite, and then it binds in phase 2 conjugation. It binds binds with the toxin into something that is water soluble. So your liver has this crazy factory that manufactures a completely different option of the chemical compound from its original toxin to something that becomes water soluble. And then it kicks it out through your kidneys or through feces or through your skin. So there's some fun facts about your liver. There's your connections between all different functions that it has. One of those things that we are talking about is the, let's see, ketones, bile, the bilirubin, and then glucose management as well. Not as much of what we're talking about today, but your liver does a whole bunch of things and it's just crazy and amazing. And then here's another little, like, if you're visual and you like more details, toxins go to the liver, break down the fatty toxins into water soluble, binding to the toxin, and then elimination. This goes through a little bit of genes that are involved in that process. And one more time, the mobilization of those toxins is what we're going to talk about next. So how do you get those toxins from the cellular level through the tissues and to your circulatory systems, your fluid circulatory systems, to become available to the liver to get rid of? Well, one of those major components is antioxidant, or sorry, I think I'm missing a. Okay, anyway, one of those processes or one of those ways that we get those cells to start rejecting toxins is by supporting the whole body of organs. And so we already have a process that naturally searches to annihilate invaders. And we already have processes that kill damaged cells. And we already have processes that um, regenerate and rejuvenate broken down parts of DNA or other chemical compositions that don't align up with those DNA sequences, and that's on a cellular level. So, how do we support them is a big component of the detoxification process. Um, this is where we can talk about things like supplements and herbs and spices and removing the excess toxins from our environment, from our foods, and from our everyday lifestyle so that those naturally occurring, already very strong processes can really take hold of not being overwhelmed, right? So they're already there, and we want to make it possible for them to kick booty. The lymphatic system is crazy. I wish I had a better image to show on this one right now, but at the moment I don't. It's just this amazing system throughout the entire body with these little nodes that are like factories for your immune system. And they move things all over the body, top to bottom. They're what usually gets sore in your back when you have like the flu or something is going to be these lymph nodes because they're swollen. They're all up in your spine, they're in between your organs, they're all around your lungs. When you start feeling that heavy chest, when you have a chest cold coming on, it's probably a lot of have to do with um, swollen lymph nodes for your immune system that are getting like full of all these antibodies and this wonderful function that they have. They're also in your armpits, which is usually where if you have a breast cancer history or survivor in your family, that they will actually take out lymph nodes that go to the breast cancer area where it was found, because those lymph nodes can transfer through the body the cancers in certain cases. And so some of those surgeries are actually removing lymph nodes that give access to the breast cancer. So the system is, incredibly intuitive and throughout the entire body, top to bottom. This middle picture is just kind of a little overview of like where your blood is pumping through, and then the lymph nodes and the lymphatic capillaries and the vessels, and they work together. And so there's this fluid circulation system. I just kind of summarize it as that. And then another thing with detox that's really helpful is when you know the difference between free radicals, which is, we're just going to summarize as toxins, and antioxidants, which is where we're going to be finding those really, really helpful compounds in our organic, non-toxic, fresh fruits and vegetables, the spices and the herbs. The antioxidants are going to actually molecularly change what free radicals can no longer do, because free radicals are little thieves in the body, and the antioxidants are going to change how those molecules react in the body. So those are a couple different ways that we have systems going through. And then one of the most fascinating things that I found in the lymphatic system is this thing called Peyer's patches. So I put a little YouTube video in here you guys can watch sometime if you want to. But it explains how in the lining of our digestive system, in the lining of intestines, there are these Peyer's patches, which is this like factory that's like lymph nodes, but it's exclusive to the stomach and the digestive process, where they actually, I'm going to remember this right, manufacture and kill stuff like the lymph nodes and the in the immune system, but directly in the stomach. So as you're digesting, as you're processing, as you're absorbing any kind of invaders or unwelcome toxins, those Peyer's patches in your stomach lining, your intestinal lining, are like immune system powerhouses right there at the on location. So I thought that was pretty fun. It's kind of an overview of more of the lymphatic system. You can kind of do some research on your own if you're interested, but there's lots of different things that the lymphatic system does and where it's located and what those different locations specialties are. A lot of people will actually be surprised to find that facial swelling goes down quite a bit when they detox because there's a lot of lymphatic systems through the neck and the cheeks. And people talk about, oh, my face is so sore, they have like a sinus infection. A lot of times it's also your lymphatic system is swollen as well. So if you're removing swelling and toxins from the whole body, your face actually changes quite a bit too. A little bit more about the stomach. So where we have those connections, we're talking about lymphatic system, Peyer's patches, liver, the process of going through to excretion. We have your stomach and your intestines are actually absorbing or producing vitamins and minerals. So the less toxified they are, the better, because they're going to be working a lot more efficiently. The interesting thing that I saw on this particular section is bile acids are reabsorbed for recycling to the liver in the ileum. So this green area down here, right before it gets into the ascending colon of the large intestine, I was like, oh, that's where the bile acids go because I thought, what? I just didn't know, right? I know that if you don't have the right kind of something, then your poop's not brown, it's white, and that's dangerous. And that's all I knew. But now I'm understanding like, oh, the bile acids get reabsorbed back through their friend, the intestines to the liver, and the cycle's just continually going over and over. I just love that. Another little example there. Oh, that's what I meant to show you. Okay, so reabsorbed. Um, let's see. Oh, and another fun fact, we're going to talk more about digestive health next week, but the bulk of the content of your feces is actually bacteria. So I did not know this until I started learning more about gut health and what the whole big deal with probiotics was. But your immune system is so heartily built on bacteria and the farts that they produce that the most of your poo should be bacteria because the right bacteria create farts that then get absorbed into your intestine and converted into immune system building chemicals. That made me laugh. So I hope you're laughing about that too. Like, great, the right bugs are going to fart the right stuff. Fantastic. But if you're constipated or you struggle with not being regular, not only are you not excreting the toxins and the chemicals as often as you are ingesting or impacted by them, like experiencing them, you also have a much higher risk of chronic illness over time because you are not producing a bulk like you should, which means that your bacteria count is low, which impacts your immune system. So, all right, on to hydration. I just thought this was funny, so you can look at it if you want to. The the effects of drinking dihydrogen monoxide. It's just a silly way of saying H2O. So in the first 5 minutes, water will send messages. Oops, my screen is. I will read it with this guy. You get messages that, or messages to your brain that it is as if it's already reached your bloodstream. Neurons in the hypothalamus start reacting to, or show a decrease in firing as the water is absorbed by the tongue. And then your plasma and your blood cell, plasma and blood cell deuterium and proteum ratio. I don't know what that is. Something good is already happening in your plasma within 20 minutes of drinking some water. And then within 25 minutes, if you're tired or you need that kick of energy, or like I said, if it's affecting your insulin levels, because drinking some water will affect how quickly your blood sugar spikes go up and down with a meal. Within 25 minutes, you should start feeling more alert and feel better because you're diluting some of that blood sugar level and also, oops, there we go, running out of time. Increasing your blood flow as well. And then by the time we get to 45 minutes, you're already helping to increase the bulk of your feces, which is a big part of this detox process we're talking about. So once it's already getting to your large intestine, hopefully, even if you haven't had a good time with being regular that day, drinking some water at the right timing can actually help to trigger some of that feces getting excreted, because within 45 minutes, you might have enough of what you need in the large intestine for your body to say, oh, okay, so now we're ready to move. And then, after an hour, you might just pee it right out, which is great for that detox process. Frequencies. This is another one that's kind of hard to go over really fast, but there are some really interesting things about frequencies that I wanted to share during this process of detoxification, bodily functions and processes, as well as being hydrated, because frequencies are carried through water extremely easily. And our bodies are majority water. So if we're hydrated, if we are removing toxins, then we also want to be aware of what kind of signaling we are sending our body on a invisible level. Like frequencies are invisible, but so impact how much water we have in our bodies. So what kind of influences are there? There are environmental. So you know where you are, your house is made of wood or brick or plaster, and what kind of vibes those are setting off. I don't know if you've ever noticed that in a log cabin, maybe you feel different than you do in a cement building. I feel a big difference. And a lot of that is because those items are actually emitting frequencies. And it's not just how the sound reverberates through the building or anything like that. It's actually frequencies. If you're around, anyway, going to take up too much time. Natural, if you're outside, grass, land, air, wind, plants and animals all have their own frequencies, and they have multiple kinds of frequencies in each one of them because the different frequencies come from different parts of those things, those creatures or natural occurring creations. So those impact you as well. You also impact the nature and the environment where you walk into. Then we have the manufactured ones, which is this scary little picture that I have here. So we have EMFs, we have different chemicals that have frequencies, we have chemtrails that we can't avoid. We also have medications or other things that are around us that make our homes functional, like the power grid and Wi-Fi. And then your body. So your body, your organs, each have their own hertz frequencies. Your brain, your bones, your emotions all have their own Hertz frequencies. So, thought I'd throw some fun stuff in here if you want to geek out. This is a tree of frequencies that takes a little bit of time to explain, but if you move through these in nature, as you go from earth to electromagnetic to the emotional or the astral, it's kind of a fun, like, go through how things change. And, this will be in the presentation, so you can look at it. And then over on the left, I put in just a YouTube video to get you started if you're interested in listening to healing frequencies. A lot of people have recorded YouTube videos that are at certain megahertz or frequencies so that they induce certain responses in the body, which is really fun if you're asleep or if you feel stressed or if you have specific situations or environments that you feel different. You can use these recordings and find specific frequencies that work for what you're trying to, accomplish, and just listen to them and turn them on and let it kind of do its thing. So it's medicinal, but it's just through feeling and sensing rather than ingesting. So I think that's a fun cheat. Oh, and then fun fact, because I'm annoyed, thought I'd share. Most music today that is created by the music industry is intentionally set at 440, which actually produces anxiety, nervousness, or aggression, because there is a lot of profit in your emotional response to popular music. And I don't like that. So things that are like classical music or healing modalities, or people who record their own music intentionally at a different hertz is, I think, 325. Don't quote me on that. Oh, there it is. 432 is the hertz that actually harmonizes with the earth in your natural body frequencies. So before, yeah, what's up?
You also have to be aware that our electronic devices are tuned to 440. And there are YouTube videos that teach you how to change your settings so that when you are listening to those beneficial frequencies, you're actually getting them and they're not being blocked.
Thank you for saying that. Excellent. Okay, thank you so much for that. I am gonna run out of time in just a minute, so I'm gonna speed through these last two, but of course we can keep chatting in the group chat. I put another YouTube video in here that has a plethora of different frequencies. So if you want to, after you fix your phone settings, you can listen to all the different ones and see how you feel. Just have fun with it and start learning about what vibes with you, literally. And then, dun, 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 my segue into gut health next week. If you think about everything that we just went over super fast, and just think about the totality of all these systems that flush and remove and attack and grab and deal with toxins on all these different planes and modalities of awesomeness, and we go back to focus on the gut, this little diagram was a game changer for me to learn how connected and where those connections are in your large intestine with, like I said, the proper gut bacteria that are producing the immune system and the farts that you need and the bulk of your excrement. They also are creating an environment that connects to your nervous system and the other axes in your body to your organs, as well as your mood and well-being. So we will talk about that more next week, but they all come together in this amazing piece of art that just makes me really happy. And that's a little like teaser for some things we'll be going to next week. And then my fancy picture at the end. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I've got you guys here. Before the clock runs down, do you, Christy, have a link or tutorial to share about how to change your phone settings?
I just found something on YouTube, and let me go through it and then I'll send it, if I'll find one that actually is, the guy that I was listening to was so techie that I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I'm going to keep looking and I'll send it to you and then you can share it with the group.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I love it.
I'm not techie.
Miss Steph, anything you have to say, think about, questions, sharing?
No, I thought that was really good. I liked listening to all of that information. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I put it all in a presentation this time rather than individual photos with screen share, so I can actually share the presentation. So you guys will have some links and some YouTubes this week.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
it's sadly limited to what's out there. So please don't stop at whatever this is. Research anything your heart desires. We love sharing as well. So if you find some gems, throw them in the group chat. Would love that.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Nice to meet you,
guys.
Steph.
I see you guys.
Have a good week.
You too.